Tyler, Texas. Wednesday, January 19th, 2005, 11:41 p.m. A surveillance camera captures 19-year-old Megan Holden walking out of Walmart, her shift finally over. She crosses the parking lot toward her red Ford F-150 truck, carrying a small bag of groceries. The fog is thick that night, shrouding the lot in an eerie mist. In the grainy footage, Megan appears relaxed, completely unaware that someone is watching. Someone who has been waiting. What happens in the next 60 seconds will spark a desperate race against time and reveal the terrifying reality that malice doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes, it simply waits in the shadows of an ordinary parking lot. This is a true crime case that would stay with investigators for years to come. Megan Holden was finding her way back to happiness. The teenager had recently moved in with her older sister Krissa and her family, 40 miles from their hometown of Henderson. It was meant to be a fresh start, a chance to rebuild after devastating loss. Just 4 months earlier, Megan's long-term boyfriend Damon had passed away from an asthma attack right in front of her. The trauma had left her feeling lost, as if something essential was missing from her life. He had been her future, and suddenly, that future vanished. Her mother, Sherry, urged the move, hoping the change of scenery would help Megan heal, and it seemed to be working. Megan was doing well at junior college, had landed a part-time job at the local Walmart, and was even proud enough of her growing independence to buy herself a truck all on her own, in her own name. Those who knew her say Megan was looking forward to school, looking forward to the future. The popular teenager was slowly reclaiming her happiness. That Wednesday evening, Megan headed to work for her regular shift at the Tyler Walmart, about 20 minutes from Chris's house. A couple hours into her shift, she called her mother during her break. They talked the entire time. Sherry told her daughter she loved her. Megan responded with that classic teenage eye roll, brushing off her mom's affection with a playful dismissal. Before hanging up, Sherry reminded Megan to drive carefully because the forecast called for dense fog. Megan promised to call again at 11:30 when her shift ended. That phone call never came. By 1 o'clock in the morning, Sherry's phone finally rang. But it wasn't Megan. It was her other daughter, Grayson, calling with concern in her voice. Krissa had been trying to reach Megan for hours. The teenager's shift had ended 2 hours ago, and she still wasn't home. Friend after friend had tried calling her cell phone. Megan always answered her phone. Always. But tonight, there was only silence. Megan never did this. Never. Sherry immediately began searching, calling the Walmart multiple times, then hospitals, then highway patrol offices to check if there had been any accidents. Each call brought the same response. No wrecks reported. That's when panic set in. By 3 a.m., with Megan missing for more than 3 hours, Sherry called police to file a missing persons report. Officer Roger West was on patrol that Thursday morning when he received the call. A mother reported her daughter missing. Megan Holden, age 19, had failed to arrive home after her Walmart shift. West started his search at the Tyler Walmart, arriving around 4 in the morning. Even at that early hour, there were several employees outside, either on break or working in the parking lot. The manager confirmed that Megan had worked her shift from 6 p.m. until 11:41 p.m. when she clocked out. The timesheet proves she'd left on schedule. But here's the chilling part. No one had actually seen her leave the parking lot. She had simply vanished somewhere between clocking out and driving away. At that point, Officer West had no reason to suspect foul play. With the dense fog blanketing the area that night, there was a real possibility of a vehicle accident. He retraced Megan's route home, using every available light to scan through the fog, hoping to catch a reflection of a vehicle that might have run off the hazardous highway. But there was no sign of Megan anywhere. The teenager had now been missing for more than 4 hours. Officer West returned to the Walmart to try a different approach. When you pull into that Walmart parking lot, it's immediately obvious. There are video cameras on every corner of the building, several covering the front lot. These cameras are witnesses more reliable than any investigator could ask for. At least one of them must have seen something. Walmart management handed over everything they had from the night before. Later that morning, investigators began analyzing the footage. The video camera shows everything. It does not lie. The raw footage is what it is. They needed to find out what happened to Megan at the end of her shift. Detectives searched through the employee area footage first. At 11:41, they found Megan in the back of the store, signing out on a whiteboard. Then they switched angles and spotted her again, this time walking out the front doors in her Walmart uniform. So far, nothing looked out of place. They continued watching as Megan walked across the parking lot toward her truck, but she didn't drive off. She sat in the vehicle for 7 full minutes. What was she doing? Finally, she emerged from the truck and walked back toward the store, this time without her uniform, revealing a bright green striped shirt underneath. It looked like she'd forgotten something. At 11:56, she appeared again at a cash register, purchasing a few groceries. An ordinary transaction, nothing unusual. Then detectives spotted Megan leaving the store for the second time, walking back toward her truck without an apparent care in the world. The camera covering the parking lot found her approaching her vehicle again. There was nothing out of the ordinary, but the very next moments on this video would stay with everyone involved in this case for the rest of their days. As Megan approached her truck, detectives spotted something horrifying. She wasn't alone. A figure dressed in black was trailing her from behind. Then, as Megan reached her vehicle, her pursuer broke into a full sprint, closing the distance in seconds. Detectives asked to rewind the footage, to slow it down, hoping they'd seen it wrong. But no matter how many times they watched it, the truth was undeniable. Someone had rushed Megan at her own vehicle. The way he carried it out was clearly a targeted attack. Once they saw the video, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that this was a serious case. Police were shocked at the speed and precision of the strike. A young woman overpowered in what seemed like a split second. Then 1 full minute passed before the taillights came on and the truck backed out, disappearing into the night. Megan and her abductor had vanished. At this point, it was no longer a matter of whether she had a wreck or was stranded on the side of the road. It was clear from the video that this was an outright abduction. Detectives knew they had to move quickly. Investigators Keschel and Roberts returned to the scene, desperate for leads. In any violent crime investigation, particularly missing persons or abductions, the first 24 to 48 hours are absolutely critical. Crime scene technicians scoured the area where Megan's truck had been parked. They made an ominous discovery, a red stain beside the driver's side door. Testing revealed it might be biological evidence, though full DNA analysis would take time. The CCTV footage was too grainy to determine if Megan had been injured during the attack. The uncertainty only added to the agony for Megan's family, who had moved their vigil to the police station. 12 hours after the attack, detectives shared what they had discovered, hoping the family could spot some clues. When Sherry saw the footage of her child being shoved into the truck and taken, her immediate hope was that he wasn't hurting her, that she wouldn't be harmed, that he would bring her back. When the lab analysis returned, there was one glimmer of hope. The red stain was not vital fluid. It was unlikely connected to the crime. Desperate for leads, investigators dug into Megan's private life. They asked the routine questions. Was she a party girl? Did she use substances? Who were her friends? The family had nothing to hide. They wanted Megan found. Detectives needed to know about boyfriends, ex-boyfriends, anyone who might want to be her boyfriend. Sherry revealed there was a new boyfriend on the scene. Daniel Keeney, a buddy of Megan's brother-in-law. When investigating suspected foul play, you generally have to start with the people closest to the victim. Suspicion grew when detectives learned Megan had been planning to see Daniel right after her shift. Could he be the mystery man caught on camera taking Megan? His name immediately piqued their interest. Cell phone records revealed something suspicious. Daniel had called Megan when she first walked to her truck, before she went back into the store. Was he setting her up for the attack? Investigators sent an officer to Daniel's residence to see if Megan, her truck, or Daniel himself were there. But the answer to all 3 questions appeared to be no. Still, detectives couldn't rule him out completely, which meant they needed to return to the Walmart video to see if Daniel had been caught on camera. The good news, more footage of Megan's terrifying abduction had been found. Lots more. With over 20 cameras covering the lot, investigators were about to see multi-angle coverage of the crime. They started at 11:57 with the camera directly over the store entrance. They spotted Megan leaving the store for the second time. As she crossed out of the top of the frame, someone picked up her trail, someone wearing all black. It appeared to be Megan's abductor at the exact moment he began his pursuit. Detectives could only see his legs, and he was carrying what looked like a gym bag. They tried the next camera, which overlooked the middle of the parking lot. There was Megan, and right behind her, the man in black. This time, they could see him and his bag much more clearly. Was he carrying a concealed weapon? They tried a new angle from the left side of the parking lot. First, Megan appeared, then the mystery man closing in. So far, he remained just a shadowy figure. But new footage was about to give police their best look yet at this subject. Investigators discovered another crucial piece of footage from 10 minutes before the attack. At 11:48, Megan was walking back toward the store to buy groceries. Just seconds later, another figure appeared in the frame. Detectives immediately recognized him, Megan's attacker. And here's the critical detail. Megan walked right past him without any sign of recognition. No casual greeting, no acknowledgement between the two individuals. It was very apparent they did not know one another. This was a stranger abduction. As detectives let Daniel go, they realized it was more critical than ever to get a better view of the suspect from the Walmart footage. They uncovered a new sequence from 45 minutes before the attack, showing Megan's abductor walking into the store. But it was still hide and seek. Detectives couldn't get a straight-on view of his face. A camera outside the restroom captured the subject entering and then minutes later exiting, but the cameras were too far away for a clear view. Then investigators tried the camera next to the store's entrance. At first, it showed only an empty frame, but then he appeared. Finally, police had the face of Megan's abductor, a full profile color image that could prove crucial in identifying him. Detectives continued following him on camera and spotted him acting strangely. It was a clue that would explain his motive and hopefully put them on track to finding Megan. At 11:46, while Megan was still on the phone in her truck, surveillance captured another young woman pushing a shopping cart toward the parking lot. Just seconds later, the man in black followed her. As the woman reached her car, he moved in closer. This lucky woman packed her car and drove off before he had the chance to attack. After her car disappeared, he turned back toward the store to wait for another victim. Just 12 minutes later, Megan was not so lucky. The footage confirmed detectives' worst fears. He was an assailant on the hunt. He was going to do this to someone, whether it was Megan or someone else. The circumstances simply came together for it to be Megan. Early Friday morning, 26 hours after the attack, Megan's missing cell phone registered another ping at a cell tower in New Mexico, 800 miles away. This new information gave investigators a direction to search. Megan and her abductor were on the move. Police expanded their search and alerted authorities out west. As police desperately tried to trace the signal, the hunt for Megan Holden took another unexpected turn. 900 miles further west in Bowie, Arizona, a shop owner fired upon an armed robber. A dangerous and wounded man escaped in a red Ford F-50 truck, just like Megan's. An officer in Arizona suspected the gunman would seek treatment for his wound, so he staked out the nearest hospital. Sure enough, the injured robber pulled into the parking lot and headed inside the emergency room, not knowing he was being watched. The vigilant officer ran the Texas plates and made contact with the Tyler Police Department. He learned all about Megan Holden's abduction. The injured gunman fit the description of her attacker. But where was Megan? She wasn't in the truck bed or cab, not with him in the hospital. The officer became very concerned that something bad had happened to her or that she was being held against her will at another location. There was only one way to find out. The officer would pay this patient a visit and snap handcuffs on him if he got the chance. The whole time, he was thinking this could go south really fast. But lose him, and lose any chance of finding Megan alive. The officer found the suspect lying down while a nurse administered medication. He appeared sedated, which the officer felt totally okay with given the violent nature of his crime. When the suspect was distracted talking to the nurse, the officer handcuffed him. He was under arrest. Police back in Texas finally knew the suspect's name, Johnny Lee Williams. Investigators began researching his background. They compared photos of Williams to the abductor seen in the CCTV footage. Not only was he a perfect physical match, but the style of his assault matched Williams's background. He had served in the military, which very much justified what they had seen in the abduction. The CCTV footage showed Megan being ambushed and overpowered within seconds. The actions of a man trained in combat. Detectives discovered Williams lived in Smith County, the exact location where Megan's cell phone pinged 2 hours after her disappearance. Police sent officers to secure the scene to see if Megan was there. They were still operating under the assumption she was alive. But when officers breached Williams's trailer, there was no one inside. They had hoped Megan would be there and be fine, that it would be the end of the story. Unfortunately, she was not there. However, investigators found critical evidence: a Walmart gift card in Johnny Williams's trailer. Walmart security ran the card number through their system. It belonged to Megan. This evidence linked Williams to the victim beyond just the truck. The discovery of forensic evidence and long brown hair on the bed suggested Williams had brought Megan there alive. With no sign of struggle or presence of vital fluids, police remained hopeful. Back in Tyler, police informed the family about Williams's arrest and his refusal to reveal Megan's whereabouts. The family remained in horrible, horrible circumstances, praying that God would let them find her. That morning, 400 miles west of Tyler, a local worker began his daily routine and made a gruesome discovery. Tyler police confirmed it was Megan, fatally wounded and discarded callously. When detectives delivered the news to Sherry, she already knew. She couldn't feel her daughter anymore. The bond was broken. She knew Megan was gone, that she wouldn't see her again. Williams pleaded guilty to capital murder. In Texas, that means the ultimate penalty, but Sherry asked to waive the death penalty, as long as Williams explained face-to-face why he took her daughter's life. She wanted him to sit down and tell her what happened to her child. She wanted to know the truth because her mind would not stop trying to figure it out. To save his skin, Williams recounted his version of events. On the night of the abduction, he said he needed a car to get out of town. He chose a sweet-looking teenager with a nice red truck. When he caught up with her, she had just opened the door. He pushed in and told her to give him the keys. But this wasn't just a carjacking. He could have taken the keys and let Megan go. Instead, he committed a heinous assault against her. Later, when Megan tried to escape, her fight back was brave but brief. Williams dragged Megan out of the truck and ended her life. He knew exactly what he was doing. He did it because he wanted to. He found satisfaction in it. Williams was sentenced to 5 consecutive life sentences. He will die in prison. 14. As for Megan's family, they tried to forget how she died and remember how she lived. Sherry describes her daughter as a part of her soul, a part that will always be missing. She lost all of Megan's future, all the moments they would never share. But she believes Megan is waiting for her, taking care of her, just in a different way now. This case serves as a chilling reminder that malice can strike anywhere, even in the parking lot of a familiar store on a foggy Wednesday night. Megan Holden was simply trying to live her life, to move forward after tragedy, to build a future. She deserved that chance. The surveillance cameras that captured her final moments also captured the swift, calculated actions of a stalker who had been trained to harm and chose to use those skills for evil. For those working late shifts, walking to cars alone, or simply going about daily routines, stay aware of your surroundings, trust your instincts, and remember that safety precautions aren't paranoia. They're necessary. Megan's story didn't have to end the way it did, but her memory lives on through her family, through the investigators who fought to bring her justice, and through the awareness her case brings to the very real dangers that can lurk in seemingly ordinary places. The watcher waited in the parking lot that night, but he didn't escape justice, and Megan Holden, though her life was stolen far too soon, will never be forgotten.